Hi everyone. So I'm at this exercise corner somewhere near my apartment block. So I just want to make a video that's a really quick one and get back to my home so that I can actually get around to having dinner and then just prepare for the next day tomorrow. Because today was my off day and I'm actually getting back to work tomorrow. So there are some things that I think I've been actually coming around to thinking about over the last few weeks and months, especially as I get into this new phase of my life. So the new year actually, I mean, it's almost halfway. We are halfway. Yeah, basically it's like somewhere nearing the middle of June. So after a while, I mean, every one of us know that there are a lot of things that are going on around the world right now. The war in Ukraine and everything. So which is actually affecting a lot of things such as the economy worldwide. And a lot of us also don't feel secure with rising inflation, all the stuff. So I wanted to actually go and deal with this particular question that's been on my mind. So especially in the light of what has been going on. So this question is, what are you prepared to lose in order to gain yourself and a new life? Maybe not just a new life in the sense of like starting again, but also a new life that you want. This is especially a question for those who have live with narcissists or have had a narcissist in your life. So I mean, this question is a very, very primal question. As you can see right now, let's there's a sunset in the background, so yeah, it's very beautiful. But the sunset actually reminds you a lot of this thing with everything in life, just not just things in nature or life itself, but just even things like the relationships you have. We all have, even the relationships with a narcissist. So it reminds you that there's always a point when it must end. If we hang on to that that narcissistic relationship, not only are we going to be in the sunset of our lives, because the narcissists don't want us to be happy. They do not even want us to be alive. They will do their best to get rid of us. Even if they don't do it themselves, they'll make us do it to ourselves. Some people, I mean, because of all these algorithms and certain words that are going to send about alarm and cause it to get demonetized and or placed in a corner where nobody sees it on YouTube. I can't use that word, but they will unalive you. They will unalive you. It doesn't exist in the English dictionary. So what are you prepared to lose? Are you prepared to just end it with the narcissist in terms of the relationship? It's better to discard them, to break off all contact with them. To break it all off and stop talking to them permanently on your own accord, than to just stay around hoping that they will do it to you. They won't do it to you, because they will very rarely do a narcissist discard you until you are at the very you're at very wit's end. You have no more value, and I think that nobody wants to be in that stage of life. So yes, and I mean, I love myself right now too much to want to be in any kind of so-called relationship with anyone. It's good to actually make new friends, I would believe, especially after talking with the psychologist about this. She just told me to try and go and find some common interest groups and go onto some online app just to know some people. And she said, if I'm really, really scared that the person is going to be like someone who's not really going to be very healthy to hang around with, hang out with, I can always just say, thank you, bye bye. I don't think it works out as just being friends, or even just being friends, yeah. And yeah, it's a kind of touch and go thing. So, but I just want to just get it out that that there's a thing about losing it all to get it all. So, especially right now, I don't think I'm all exactly in the best stage of my life, because I'm very concerned about my my finances, not because I'm actually running low on them, but because I think that being in this kind of survival mode for years, where I feel that I have to just keep on saving and saving, and also leading to me just not investing anything like studies or whatever, has led me to realize that this is maybe not the kind of life I want. And I realized that especially after coming back from travel in South Korea. So I kind of realized at this point too that that if I'm going to make my way onto a new life, that the life that I want, which is a life in which I can find more greater fulfillment beyond just going through the motions, then indeed I can't just end it with a narcissist or a narcissist in the plural. I have to do more than that. I have to actually become a better person for myself, yeah. And sometimes you might lose more than just a narcissist. You might end up losing, you definitely lose a lot of different things. People don't realize that, but when they start cutting out a narcissist, they realize that they also lost us, the people who hang around with them. They used to think that they were their friends or family, but who turn out to be actually on the narcissist side. So this is one of the few things that you will end up losing. And I think that it takes a lot of perspective to frame yourself, to frame everything that goes on in the right light. Yeah, you have to just frame it in the right perspective to realize that these people, it's the same with everyone. Nobody stays with you for life. But not just that, but especially not the people who are really never for you, yeah. And if they can be won over to the narcissist side, what's the big deal? So I kind of realized this, especially after these last few years. I was telling some friends, there's a long story in my spiritual, there's this kind of, they always tie up narcissistic abuse with some form of spiritual awakening. And for me, it's a very long story as to how I got to this stage where I am right now spiritually, in terms of my faith as well. And I don't really let people downright just downplay me and say that I'm a terrible person, whatever. I don't really care, because I know that I'm not perfect, and no one is perfect anyway. So don't let anyone just tell you that. But when I actually made that move to I decided that I actually had to leave the evangelical Christian faith, denomination. I announced it to most of my friends, and I said I'm no longer a Protestant or evangelical as of a particular period of time. And that my god sister, one friend, I always used to call her like my god sister, but maybe she didn't realize that I left that thing. But she didn't realize that I'm leaving that one denomination for another one. So I just recently announced that I'm actually turning Eastern Orthodox. So, but that you will lose some friends. You will definitely lose some friends. And but the thing is this: when you become a different person, you will definitely lose people in the past who do not want you to actually move on or progress into the future, which is potentially a better person. And I know that this is really, really something that is very hard to swallow for most people. There's this idea that we grow together with other people, in the past, especially people of the same faith. It's not always that case. I don't think so, because there are people who kept quiet. I know that there are friends who they asked me that weird question. I think it's a very weird question. They asked me if the Eastern Orthodox Christian faith is Christian, why then do you need to convert from so-called like an evangelical denomination to Eastern Orthodoxy. I said I need to, because you know why? Because to begin with, I know that this is a very dissatisfactory or unsatisfactory answer to most of them, but I just told them that the most Christian thing I could actually do, at least for me, is to be a Greek Orthodox Christian or Eastern Orthodox Christian. And yeah, I know this is like a weird thing for most of them, but to me it's better than being in a shit show. I mean, to me it's better than being in a shit show of congregations teaching you things such as that you're once saved, always saved, regardless of whatever bad things you do, and then you must not. Oh yeah, they'll deny you access to mental health care. Yeah, in the evangelical denomination, some of them. Not only that, do they do that. They also do things like stigmatizing subjects to study in university, like psychology or philosophy, calling them anti-Christian or satanic. And I mean, this is all religious fundamentalism. So I'm willing to lose those friends if I need to become a different person, different version of myself. And if they cannot accept that, perhaps they were not really my friends to begin with. So I realized this especially after my grandmother passed away last year. So it was a very quiet funeral. I hated to say it, but I told my one friend, that I really hated to say it, because none of my atheist friends attended the funeral wake. They couldn't be bothered, or they just, even if they knew, they wouldn't attend. It's like, oh, you know what, what's a big fucking deal? Everyone is going to die anyway, and we'll disappear, whatever. That's probably what they're thinking. And the so-called evangelical Protestant Christian friends who knew about it didn't come as well. Especially the fundamentalists or the evangelical ones, the so-called Bible-believing ones. So it's kind of ironic, because my granny's funeral was actually a police funeral, but at a point in time I realized, I'm a Christian, so I'm there. I'm still there to honor the memory of her as a person, because I knew that who she was, it doesn't change the fact. I mean, whether or not she actually ever believed in God or whatever, it was beside the point, because the good things in my personality are always influenced by the upbringing that she and my grandfather had a role. Which she had a role in as much as my grandfather. So, and among those who attended, it's really ironic. I had a Catholic friend who was actually a convert from the evangelical faith to the Catholic faith, because her husband was a Catholic, and there were also about two or three. There were two other girls who were one of whom was my senior in university, the other was my junior in university, and two of them were actually from non-denominational, independent, probably charismatic churches, or just evangelical churches. Not evangelical, I would say more non-denominational. They can't even really be called Protestant or Reform, but you just realize this one thing. People who are, not everyone stays with you. That's the truth. Not everyone understands it. So I mean, I kind of realized that, and I knew that if I were to really be a better version of myself, I have to be willing to give up something. So I actually announced that to a lot of people, that I'm actually converting to become an Eastern Orthodox Christian, and I'm very, very proud about that. Actually, I actually told my mom, no, I'm getting some icons to just put up, to remind myself of my faith. And my mom was like, oh, my mom who's not Christian and everything, just look at that. What are you doing? Like, she doesn't understand it, but I mean, I'm fine with that. So But now I think as I go through this, I'm always asking myself this question, especially over the last few months, like what am I willing to give up in order to proceed to the next stage of my life. So there are some things such as I always cherish that dream, that to go to Canada, but to go back there, yes. But sometimes things don't really work out. I was kept hanging around, with that that not travel coordinator, but the agency or the immigration agency or the that coordinator or the person who was handling the application. They just leave it, they lodge it, and then they leave you alone, they ghost on you and things like that. And just realize, I can't do that. I had to withdraw the application eventually. So maybe the next stage of my life requires me to move somewhere else, to another country instead of Canada, to study. And I have to pay the money by myself. And I might pay more as an international student, but it's still better than just being someone who can't even exactly who can't exactly fend for himself or herself. But I know now, I think that this is something I have to do. So there are things that I think that we should be more aware of, that if you're willing to lose it, you will actually gain it. But you, of course, don't be a rash person to do that. Think first of your life and where you want to get to. Sometimes you can't just stick around and keep that person. And I mean, right now that particular psychologist was telling me, that if you're hanging on to certain things as well, like your fear of making new friends, having new people in your life, it won't be a very good thing, especially when you go overseas to travel. I mean, not just to travel, but to study there and eventually work there and get into a new profession and certain things. And so she told me that's why she told me to go out and just get more new people. And if I realize that the person is just okay and safe enough to be hanging around with, I can meet them. If not, I can still disappear. And that's the benefit of online acquaintances, as she said. And she said that she did tell me one thing about me based on what was going on. She said, it looks like you are actually better off with in terms of making friends, and you're better off with like girls, because they are more socially oriented, and provided that the person is also like a non-Muslim, based on all the experiences you had with narcissists who are either Muslims or, if not Muslims, some of them were actually agnostic, but hanging around with certain groups of people, or even Christians who are alleged Christians who are narcissists. So she just said that it looks like that you are better off with befriending opposite sex, and then having someone who's a non-Muslim as your friend. So that's what she recommended. So anyway, I've been rambling a lot, and I'm really kind of like just voicing my thoughts. But that's my question. What are you prepared to give up on in order to move on and proceed onto the next stage of your life? Potentially a better stage, obviously. So okay, that's it for now. Have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.